Jim Barrett. Okay. Keep Jim Barrett in your prayers. I was talking to Helen today. Jim had fallen and he had hit his head and he fell. He broke 2 vertebrae in his neck. So he's been in ICU for 2 weeks. And Helen was saying he also has fluid in his lungs and they're trying to get that out of him. So he's in good spirits and he's doing well, but he's 90 years old. So he's
Jeez, how did that happen?
Yeah, he just happened to fall and hit his head. And so those of you that know him, so like I say, keep him in your prayers. And I'm going to stop by Saturday. He made me a couple pots. He got, I put in an order for some pots and he got some pots done. So Helen called me to come pick him up. So, but yeah, so he's doing well. So anyhow, so tonight it's going to be question and answering, and a good subject tonight that we're all talking about is moss, where to get moss and how to propagate it and things like that. Hopefully Lindsay comes on and gives us some help here. So.
I text him.
Oh, you text him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he's just showing up.
Okay. And
yeah,
we want to
welcome.
Okay.
Lindsay.
And we want to welcome a new member, Mary. She just joined, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, welcome to Baikoen.
Thank you.
It's Mary.
I took a class from Lindsay about 2 years ago, and haven't seen him since. And I went to one of your meetings, but now I moved, and now I'm like have to stay in contact.
What do you moved to? Oh, where are you living currently at, or city at?
I'm in Laguna Niguel now.
Oh, nice.
So far, you know, at my age, you have to stay indoors a lot, but I'm getting out and I'm starting to learn my way around the streets without the phone. Turn left here, turn right there, make a U-turn here. So I've never lived anywhere that I have no sense of direction. And then finally, you know, when you're in Pasadena, they got the mountains to the north and everything's sort of grid, so you can get somewhere. Yeah. Down here, it's just cul-de-sac land, you know, and curving broadways, and you know, and what is it? The every so many blocks there's a little shopping center, so everybody can, you know, has a little tiny microcosm space, planned community, you know, so we don't show up anywhere and cause a big problem anywhere. But it's a little crazy.
Where do you live now, Mary?
I'm down in Laguna Niguel.
Oh, nice, fancy.
It's all right.
Lindsay, does Larry and Nina live in Laguna, or am I getting the city wrong?
Yeah, no, they live in Laguna Beach. Mm-hmm.
Who lives there?
This couple, Larry and Nina Rego.
Okay.
Yeah, they're longtime bonsai people.
So like I said, before the meeting, we were talking about moss, Lindsay, and
let's continue.
Michael Roberts was talking about making moss planters or moss. Maybe Michael, you could jump in and tell us. And is he still there?
He walked away.
Oh, he walked away. Okay, but he was saying what you might have an idea what kind of soil we would use underneath the moss, and then
what is it? Is it a moss ball?
No, it's
flat of
moss boxes. Moss tracks.
to grow moss.
Yeah, to grow moss.
Yeah, well, you just want to have at least 50% organic material. You can use anything really, and got to have it stay moist, stay right.
Yeah.
Out of the sun. So maybe if there's a place where, you know, like I have sprinklers that go on twice a day in the summertime, that'd be great under the benches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the problem with the benches if they're in the sun, though.
Well, under the benches would be shaded, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to see where the shadow falls for me. because, yeah, depends in the direction that the sun is coming in. Yeah. So what, like a potting soil, like an organic potting soil? Or
Yeah, I mean, you could use like a cactus mix and then add a little more just organic material, like
okay.
peat moss or oak leaf mold or something.
Okay, and then like Robert was saying, that mix in a little sphagnum moss, and then a little sphagnum, and then mix your moss in with that, and then sprinkle it over the top.
Well, you could actually get regular moss that you would use for bonsai and then dry it a little.
Yeah.
And then crumble it,
Yeah.
and then put that over there, over the top of it and keep it wet. Kind of pack it down a little on the surface. And it should sprout up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with the leftover that I got from Tom. I'm gonna let it dry out. Then I'll take a cheese grater, grate it up and see if that's gonna work.
I think Carol Upston was using some kind of, I heard like a milk, sort of some kind of milk product or something that.
Yeah, I heard people use buttermilk.
Helps the bacteria or helps
I've heard people also use beer. I've heard that too.
Oh, what a waste.
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that too. Then, and they make up a paste. I've heard that they make a paste with, like Ted, he likes to use the worm droppings, and then he puts that underneath it to try to keep it going longer and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, worm castings is good
too.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. So yeah, he likes to.
I just go to Ed Clark's. Go farmer from Ed Clark's when you're there, or anybody has a farm. Say, can I get some moss, please?
Yeah.
Remember Lindsay Kahn's cousin had the wholesale nursery back behind the old nursery there, and boy, they used to have the most beautiful moss there. And I'd go back there and scrape up a few flats of that when the Psych 8 class would meet at Kahn's, and that was gorgeous, nice moss.
Oh, but man, yeah.
Them days I remember that he had that wholesale nursery back there growing little tropicals.
Yeah, I never saw that nursery back there.
Yeah, he grew small tropicals, for like back in the days when dish gardens and what do you call them, terrariums and stuff were a big deal, and
yeah.
So those little, really about 2-inch pots probably with just essentially rooted cuttings of tropicals, and boy, he had the most beautiful moss back there.
Wow.
I am going to tell you though, a stupid thing. Now this is very stupid. I want everybody to note that it's very stupid. If you have a large elm forest, I'm not saying who does, but if you have a very large elm forest and it's full of little leaves and junk, when you take it out in the springtime to clean it up, do not, you're using your tweezers and you think, boy, this is stupid. I need something to get rid of this faster. And you think, what do I need? Blowing air is a good idea. And you get a little air can because you think you're very smart, and you blow all those leaves off your surface of your moss with the air can. It freezes the moss and kills every last damn bit of it.
Oh no.
Yes. And it will kill the trees too if you're not careful. It really, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's shooting zero, or not sub-zero, but damn cold, air out of that can, and it'll just kill that moss better than a doornail.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I know someone very well who did that this year. In fact, I know him so well that he wears my clothes. Yeah, and it was the last beautiful moss that I had, the last good moss that I had left, and I killed it. Now it looks like a brown, desert scenery again. And so,
oh no.
Anyway,
so John,
so don't do that.
John. So
yes.
canned air is a bad thing because it's basically
it is a very bad thing.
It's basically liquid nitrogen in those things, and it's you're right. It will freeze anything that you barely spray it and it'll freeze it. But get yourself like a little pancake compressor, and
that I got, and that would have been smart. See, but then you have to work and plug it in, and with the little fan, you don't have to do any of that with the it just froze it and turned it into crap. I mean, it really looks awful.
Oh, I'll remember that.
Yeah, it is a bad idea, and take my word for it. I have a pretty good substantial forest of those cork bark elms from that Roy Nagatoshi made a bunch of years ago, and I think I may have lost 2 of them too doing with that damn spray. It never occurred to me. I was shooting those leaves off, and they were blowing off, and I thought, man, am I smart? I am so smart. And then, Dumbo. But anyway, so yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, sounds good.
All righty. I think anything else with moss while we're on the subject? Growing moss.
Well, no, we had this CBS show online this year, and we did some photos last Saturday, and we're going to do some more this Saturday at Bob's place, Bob Pressler's house, nursery. And I didn't have enough moss, so I just mossed the front part where the camera would see it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really dry out here.
Well, talk about that. Don't forget there. Is it too late to sign up for the CBS if you're part of the club, Lindsay, to shoot on Saturday?
If they let me know right away, yeah.
Oh, there you go, people.
Still some space.
So if you're a CBS member and want to show one of your trees off, tell Lindsay Sheba right now. Joe, did you talk about the dig on Sunday? I don't remember.
No, I didn't. Shirley put it in the newsletter. You can go ahead. Yeah.
Well, quick reminder: if we are digging elephant foot, or I forgot the scientific name, Port Africanus, or with dwarf jade plants on Sunday. If you want to go, I'm sorry.
Portulacaria.
Thank you. And then if you like to dig, give me a text or email me, and I'll send you the information. So far, we only have about 4 people. It's a cactus. It's a succulent. I mean, it's bulletproof as a bonsai. But yeah, that's this Saturday if you like to go, or Sunday if you like to go.
What city is that in?
Riverside. So it's perfect location for it. Hot and dry. Hot and dry. So that's it. Let's go down the list here. So Walter, are you there, Walter? Or you're just hiding from us? Walter?
Audio's off.
No? I'll come back to Walter. Hey, Greg, are you there, Greg?
This audio is off too.
Maybe they walked away. All right, Mitch, you're up, buddy. Batter's up. Oh, Greg's live. I think Greg's coming.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right,
but
Greg.
you can get to me later. How's it going?
All right, Mitch, you're up. Mitch, you're up to bat.
Thanks.
Yeah, I have a simple question, kind of a dumb one, but what do you guys use to clean sap off your tools?
I use WD-40.
WD-40 gets it off?
Yeah.
Really? And what do you, I mean, I don't want to scrape and what do you scrape it with? Steel wool or emery?
Oh, I use, I just work it in real good with just a towel, and it'll take it off.
Okay. All right. I didn't want to go at it.
You can use isopropyl alcohol too.
Yeah, alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the alcohol wipes work really well because and they're portable too. You can have it anytime year round, and it doesn't hurt the tree or anything. Because WD-40 will kill the tree.
Okay. Well, and then I clean my tools before I cut them. Yeah.
The isopropyl alcohol also, if you use it to wipe in between each tree, if there's any fungus or anything from one tree to the next, you keep it clean.
You could use Vaseline.
Glugon
You could
works
use
pretty good.
Vaseline
Yeah,
also.
Vaseline.
Vaseline works.
Oh, Vaseline, okay.
Like I say, I use Glugon quite a bit. Glugon works pretty good.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So there really isn't much of this stuff you can use that isn't going to have a negative residual effect on the tree, as long as you wipe it off.
Clean it off. Yeah, you got to clean it off.
Okay.
Yeah. I know Roy, whenever you're over at Roy's, he has bottles of Lysol, and you're always dipping every cut. You dip your tools in Lysol, and then you make your cut. Dip your tools in Lysol and make your cut. Yeah.
You can also use lemon oil.
Yeah, lemon oil works pretty decently.
Yeah, so a little less negative effect, just in case you're worried about that.
Yeah, I don't think that's too much of a factor as long as you don't get crazy.
Yeah.
Good question.
Thanks.
So I'm reading on the chemical composition of pine tar. It's an oil, so like dissolve like any oils. Has acetone. So yeah, any alcohol will do it. Will dissolve into it. Oh look, mixed into soluble in chloroform. Yeah, we can have that. Hey Lindsay, your beer will work really well too, by the way, on cleaning pine tar too.
The beer?
Yeah, your beer, we say the waste, yeah, that also clean pine tar off.
Oh, really?
So it's like
a
clean a tool, take a drink. Clean a tool, take a drink.
I was gonna say, Tom, it just got you to where you didn't care anymore about the pine tar.
This is what happens through reading on the chemical composition of pine tar. I was like, I never looked it up. I'm like, it's an organic, was an organic oil. Look at that. That's interesting. All righty. That's I don't deal with pine, so I can't help you there. Sorry.
Speaking of pine tar, Takshimazu, he collects like these pine drippings, sap, puts it in a little jar and adds, let's see, what is it? Pretty sure it's alcohol to kind of dissolve it into solution. And he paints that on as a preservative.
On what? On the dead wood?
On pines.
On the dead wood part of the pine?
Yeah. On the gin and shari, on pines and junipers, I think.
Almost like sap. Basically, it's painting on.
Yeah, it's kind of like linseed oil or something. Maybe.
Did you know that sailors used to do that to their clothes?
Really?
That's why they call them tars.
Yep.
Huh.
Really? Oh.
And I also learned that there's a tool it's like for splitting wood, but it's sideways and it has a handle that goes up this way, and then you use a mallet and hit it from the top. And it's for splitting to make shingles. It's called a froe, F-R-O-E, and you put that and you hit it, and then you just bend it over, and it makes the shingles. And the New England houses, they survive because they were made that way. If you cut it, you cut through the grain, but this way the grain stays, and then all the pitch in the tree petrifies and becomes like stone.
Oh wow!
Fantastic.
So I have something to contribute.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I appreciate all the questions that came in. And if you're not familiar, Curiosity Quest is so before there was Inland Empire Explorer, before there was California.
Oh, I was like, wow, who's speaking so well? You're on mute, Lindsay.
Distract everybody. All
right, Mitch, did that answer your question, Mitch? There.
Yes, I mean, like every meeting I come to, I don't have to ask anything. I just wait and listen. I learn more stuff that I didn't know. So
awesome.
Now I'm ready to reshingle my house. So
talking about what you call pine tar. Has anybody been decandling yet? This is around that range. We're a little early for the season, but has anybody decandled yet?
No, it's too early.
No, a little too early.
Memorial Day, huh?
For us, it's the end of June, first part of July.
Really? Oh wow, that's late.
Oh yeah, that's pretty late. Huh.
You do it too much earlier than that, then they grow up you get too big of needles. You don't control it well enough. So fertilize like heck all the way up until the beginning of June, and then decandle at the end of June and let it slide.
When you say fertilize like heck, like how much? I use this, those BioGold small pellets.
So I would just, I don't know how fast the BioGold breaks down, but the organic fertilizers that I've used in the past, I use a combination now, but in the past when I was using organic fertilizers, I would go every 6 to 8 weeks, beginning at the end of February, right up until I was starting to decandle, and then nothing for the next, 6 or 8 weeks to let him, and then they'll keep small that way.
So you actually start fertilizing as early as February?
Yeah, well, we're in Southern California, so we have 90-degree weather in February sometimes.
December too.
Yeah.
But even here, I think anybody that thinks their conifers are totally dormant in the wintertime is making a mistake. My junipers and stuff it all grow even in cold weather. We get, we had minus, we didn't have minus this year, but we'll get well below freezing in the 20s and teens. And even then, those junipers and pines are doing stuff, so I fertilize in mid-February, even here when everything is still pretty locked up pretty tight. I just think that idea of conifers being stone dormant in the wintertime is nonsense. They have a lot to do and keep themselves going on, and I don't know. I just think we tend to overestimate the dormancy in terms of what the plants are actually doing. Even deciduous trees, are working in the wintertime a little bit, and it's for me. Also here, when we get a flush in the springtime, it's enormous. We get that enormous flush, and then in the summertime, everything goes dormant again because it's so hot, or relatively dormant. So I need to get that fertilizer into that mix before that flush to really, and my sense is, and I don't know if this would hold up botanically or not, is that these trees are gathering energy for the flush even before they're showing anything, and so I try to get on them pretty quick.
So sometimes when you repot early on in, first part of February, you'll already see new growth on deciduous trees.
Sure.
And if you're fertilizing when there's growth on the roots, they're pulling it up.
You bet.
So look at where your question goes, Mitch.
Beg your pardon?
Look at where your question goes. See, it grows.
Well, that brought me to the next one. My candles on both of my black pines right now. I've only had them for a year. They seem to be smaller, growing slower, and seem to be smaller than they were a year ago. I repotted them both last year, and I've heard from some people. They said the year after you repot, the candles may not be as active, but it may grow a little bit slower. But I wonder if anybody has any thoughts about that.
So
I started fertilizing on March 1st.
When did you finish fertilizing?
I fertilized all the way up through November.
Through the end of November?
Mid part of November, somewhere in there.
And then you started again in March?
Yes. Don't tell me I killed them.
No. What do you have them growing in?
1/3, 1/3, 1/3 Akadama.
Okay. Standard mix. Okay.
Standard mix.
I to be truthful with you, I have almost exactly the same situation. And I have trees that I've grown from seedlings that are maybe a half an inch to an inch. And Tom, you saw them. I've got candles on those suckers that are 6 or 8 inches long.
Right now?
Yep. and I'm going to continue to let them go until till the mid to end part of June, and I'm going to cut them right back to and pull out as many needles down to about 3 or 4 packets on each one, and stop the fertilizing for 6 or 8 weeks. And you watch, they'll come out all tons of little tiny candles all in there.
And the longest mine are right now are about 4 inches.
Yeah, well, that's good.
And narrow and tiny. I mean, not very big in diameter either.
Well, keep fertilizing them. Keep them green and keep them chugging along. That would be my suggestion.
Oh, I will. I mean, I'm gonna change the fertilizer out again this weekend. So I'll put a whole new batch of fertilizer on Sunday probably.
Do you mix organic in with it?
Right now, the only thing I am using on those is organic.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Any other things to add to that about pine needle growth after repot?
I have a question. Since we're on pines,
go for it.
Okay. I have some pines like sitting outside the window.
I told you he's hiding his background.
It's outside the windowsill because I ran out of space in the garden. So.
He's hiding, so we know he has a whole greenhouse behind him. He's lying.
Let's get some depth of field here.
Maybe he's growing pot plants behind us. He just doesn't want us to know.
Could be.
Nick, you can tell, right? You can tell you're going up to that border area and you can smell it out through the screen.
Let me
unfocus. Yeah, focus back.
Focus, yeah. It's pretty bad. Background. None. Okay. I think it's okay now.
Yeah. Don't see anything incriminating.
Yeah, he has a real Monet back there. That's why he's blurring the background.
So this one, see, the candles are already opening.
Beautiful.
Yep, mine too.
Right. But then I have another pine here.
Well,
this one I got from what's Ed Clark.
Yeah, okay, so do you know how old that is?
I don't. I have no clue.
Is that one of those wire wrapped ones, or
yeah, there's a wire wrap, but yeah, it's wire wrap.
So, Tom, how old are those wired wrap ones? He's not doing that anymore, is he?
Not really. Does that? I can't tell. Herb, does that have a flaky bark already?
Yes, very flaky.
That's at least 25.
It's actually very flaky. It doesn't show on the camera, but it
does show. It does show. That's what I'm asking. So my guess is it's probably at least 10 to 15 years old.
Yeah. So that's the needles on that. If you're doing it right, over the next 5 years, they're going to start getting real short.
Okay. Let me get this other
pine. When do you needle pluck on your pines?
Pardon me?
When do you needle pluck?
The same time I decandle, and then again in December.
Okay.
So the question is, the candles on that have already opened. Now this is another pine that I got from Roy, Fuji Nursery. But if you look at the candles, they're still, you can't even see the candles. They're so small. They haven't opened yet. So I'm wondering what the difference is. Why? Is it just the species of the black? But they're both black pine.
How long have you had them both the same length of time?
This one is old. I mean, I just started bonsai. I'm new at this. So I had this for about 8 months now. And I actually took it back to, I repotted, by the way, in November. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I see the candles coming out now, but very late. I have 2 other black pines, and those ones also have opened up already. But this one is still, that's why I was worried. I was going to actually ask Roy this weekend if I should be, doing anything about it. I was wondering, I repotted it, and then I wasn't picky about the soil. I think I got the soil from, where was this? House of Bonsai, which was, I think 40% Akadama, 40% decomposed granite, and then 40, 20, 20 or something like that. 40, 30, 30, 40 Akadama. So I don't know if that matters, the soil.
Well, oh yeah, it does.
It
But
matters.
it's age of the tree, how the fertilizer schedule, and the watering, all of those things, you know. So as time goes along, the two trees will start to act more similar, probably.
I see. Okay.
I mean, if that one's new to your garden versus the other one, then they're not going to be the same right away. But as you get closer, I mean, as you start to treat them exactly the same, and you're decandling and working them the same, provided they're about the same age, and you're treating them the same and feeding them the same, they'll start to act about the same.
Okay. I'm actually gonna swing by Roy's because there were other trees there that I bought. I mean, there were other trees like sitting right beside this one that I bought, and they're probably still there. So I just want to go there and compare.
Did he say that's a Mikawa black pine? Or did he say?
No, I
didn't say. Oh, because some of the ones with smaller needles are a little bit slower, a little bit behind.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe it could just be.
These ones have large needles, though. Very long. This pine is the one that I have with the longest needles. I have like 3 other pines. One that I got from California Bonsai Studio. It's a finished pine. It's really nice, but really small needles.
Oh, okay.
But that's because they told me I was actually styled by a guy named Shig something. I forgot his last name. But very, very small needles.
Shig Mia?
Yeah, probably. You see,
Shig Mia, is it a pretty tall tree?
No, it's not. It's probably like 20 inches, something like that.
Shig Mia had a pine tree. It was called Monterey pine. Real dark needles. And he would, the way he'd trim it was kind of unorthodox, but they had really small needles too. It was beautiful. I don't know if he sold that to them or not.
I don't know.
Yeah. But you could take a lot of like junipers and pines. If you kind of crush the needles, they all have a different smell.
I see.
And so that's sometimes how we tell some of the junipers apart. But the Pinus radiata or the Monterey pine has a different smell than a black pine.
I see.
Yeah.
Although all of this were, black pines.
Oh, they were?
They're all black pines. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think the one that Shig styled, he waits till very late in June to cut the candles.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, Shig Mia is he lives in East LA, West LA. And he's very old, so I don't know. Maybe they did buy it from him.
All righty. Thank you for Lindsay for that. Great questions. Nick, you're up, buddy.
All right. I recently went to the Fred Mia Harris in San Diego. And it was great. It was a fun, good experience, and he has an amazing garden, and I was excited to pick up some stuff.
You're breaking up
So
though.
there's a few things I could ask about. Should buy, which I've never grown before, and I got one little thing, and I want to let it. Oh, sorry. How am I doing? I guess to limit my questions, one of the things I picked up was he said it was a procumbens, I'm sorry, prostrata juniper. And he said I could work the foliage, but it was definitely too late to repot it. But on I guess my main concern with it is I'm thinking ahead to the hot summer months, and it seems to be in a pot with really dense soil. And I'm worried about the density with moisture and heat down the road. So I'm wondering if there's something I could do, think about like potting it into something slightly bigger and maybe sort of rough up the edges, increase the drainage. But I was worried about having that weird dynamic where all the water just flows around the side and the center dries out, and you know what I mean? So I don't know if anybody has any magic tricks to solve this issue, or if I just need to be really cognizant of where I place it in the summertime. Does anybody hear any of that?
All right, let me translate. This is what happens when you're teaching online for last 9 months. You can figure out what they're trying to say with a little bandwidth.
CPU ruined or something?
No, you have low bandwidth right now, Nick. So you're just choppy on your audio. So if I'm translating correct, you bought a prostrata or procumbens juniper from Fred Murahara. And you're worried about how dense that root ball is right now, because it's probably not penetrating water, especially in the summertime. Is there anything you can do to alleviate that root ball currently? Is that correct?
Nod yes.
You can't even see Nick. Nick's I have a thumbs up on the chat. Will work too.
I might have lost him.
Yeah. We'll come back to Nick, but I think that's that was his question. Just kind of picking through Zoom.
He bought an old prostrata.
Correct.
That has a root ball that's in really old soil, and it's so dense he's afraid that it's not gonna soak up water. It's gonna die on the interior of the root ball.
Correct.
And he's thinking ahead to the hot part of the summer.
Correct.
And what can he do now to fix that problem so that he doesn't lose the tree in the hot part of the summer?
Correct. So options.
Well, you could drill holes, down into the root ball to kind of break that up.
Yep.
Can you repot it? Is there any reason not to repot? This is
okay. So
you could repot half of it. Take about half the root ball probably.
So and also he was nervous about if he repotted now and scraped the outside and then put it into a larger container, that it still wouldn't get down to the interior of the pot of the root ball, and it would just run off the outside of the root ball. And so Lindsay's idea of opening up the root ball by drilling a bunch of holes and breaking it up and then putting it into a new pot with as much new soil as you can and try to soak the crap out of it is probably, and it's not too late right now, Nick, to still repot junipers.
Yeah, you could do it now. Maybe thin it out a little, thin the top out a little.
Give us a thumbs up in the chat.
Okay.
Ooh, I hear rumor.
That's weird, man. That's very weird. Some outer space.
This is what I deal with on a daily basis. So I'm like translating. This is how I teach for the last, almost 9 months. This is how we've been teaching. What are you saying? Can I translate that?
He wrote on chat that thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
so you could probably do at least maybe a third of the root ball just to be safe, and then drill holes in maybe the remaining part, and then repot, put it in a bigger container.
Lindsay, would it be okay while he has it out of the pot and he's drilling holes to soak it?
Oh yeah, sure. Soak it first. That'd be good.
Yeah,
good idea.
Even power nozzle it, huh?
Or would you do what Ted Manson does? Ted Manson does the 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Takes about 4 years to repot a really hard, solid pine they're doing at Hunting Library. Just take a wedge at a time.
Yeah, you could do. You almost want to do it like on each side of the root ball, not just one side. I think like a little sliver out of each side,
like a pie wedge.
Yeah, real fine, narrow pie wedge. But that's good too. That'll work.
No air can. Okay, no canned air.
Yeah, right.
No
liquid nitrogen.
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta ask. This is my question. What are people having for dessert? Because I've seen people eat.
Josie.
I'm having yogurt.
See, someone's having yogurt. Okay, this is my question. I'm sorry. This is not even bonsai related. I'm just looking at what people are eating. Joe, what are you eating, Joe?
Anything that doesn't.
I can't even hear him. He's on mute. He's enjoying his food so much.
His mouth's full.
Sorry, carrot cake with ice cream.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Wow. Ooh. Oh, he won.
Hey, Caroline, I think we're going to Joe's house after this meeting.
A winner.
Carrot cake with ice cream.
Yeah, it's called Moose Dropping Ice Cream from Smart and Final.
Moose Track. Wow. Moose Track.
Moose dropping. That's it. Yeah, dropping, same thing.
Maybe his arm is dropping.
It's pretty
good. Is he making moss later?
You might be eating moose trapping, dropping it, but
Anybody else eating dessert? Because I'm like looking at. I'm looking through your profile, people, and so I'm like looking at your faces. Like people are eating without me here. Come on, you gotta share your food. I just got candy on the side, but that's like nothing great. All right, Mary, you're up to bat.
I don't have anything to add. I'm having a really good time. I told you about tars and throws. So that's my contribution.
Mary, tell us.
I do have a question from Lindsay though. What was that first tree we made? I guess it's a juniper that has like a lemony smell. What is that?
Oh, it was probably a formal upright, huh? Was it an upright? It could have been let's see, what is that called? Shoot.
Well, whenever it comes to you.
Yeah, it'll come to me. Hold on. We had a problem getting formal upright material.
Yes.
And it's not a red cedar. It was Spartan juniper.
Spartan juniper.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that sort of has a lemony smell.
Yeah, I love the smell of that.
Yeah.
That's it. I like that. That's an easy question. See, those are easy ones. Only Lindsay can answer.
Yeah.
Well, as we go, I'll have more questions when I screw things up a lot, but right now I'm okay.
All right, Jonathan, you're up.
Oh, me?
Yes,
no,
Jonathan. Yes, Jonathan.
I don't have any today.
Wow.
The moss one was actually like a question that that I had. So that was really good info in the beginning.
Yeah.
Did you start on your landscaping in the backyard?
I have not, because I had to do my sewer first. So I just finished the sewer.
Oh,
Ow. Are you on a septic tank, Jonathan?
Yeah, we were on septic. So.
Oh.
Not fun.
Oh.
No, I know all about it.
So did you tie into the sewer or did
Yeah,
you
we
put
tied
it
into the sewer. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that set you back. I hate that job.
Yeah, so it's done. We're
Good.
I don't have to. One time we got backed up and I had to shovel everything into the. So don't want to do that again.
More moose droppings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come over.
Not coming over.
I bet you it was good for growing moss, though.
Manny, are you there, Manny?
Yes.
You're up, young man.
Manny.
Okay. I'm gonna reverse my camera in a minute here. Let me show you what I have. I have a bald cypress I got from Bob Pressler last May. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, it's a twin trunk.
Nice.
It's a twin trunk. It was bare when I got it from him, and now it's really producing a lot of leaves. But it's kind of lopsided. The right side is somewhat full. The other side is just starting to bear new shoots. Should I just let that grow like crazy this summer or this year?
How come she was great?
Because
Well, I think, I think there's a little misconception about twin trunk. Twin trunk kind of implies that it's like the same size and everything, but I think a double trunk is a better description.
Oh, double trunk.
And I think you should try to create it so that the bigger trunk, or have a bigger trunk that's taller, so that there's a variation in size and caliper, and height.
Yeah, that was my next question, because they're like, this is the top here of the taller tree, and then the other one is down here. Oh wait, this is the top of the other one, and then this is the distance. Should I chop the shorter one a little bit more?
Maybe just slow it down some and let the taller one take off, so it gets thicker trunk.
Okay.
Lindsay, have him show you which is there's one of the trunk, I think the one on the right is a little bit thicker than the one on the left.
Oh boy, close. You're right.
Pretty close, huh?
You're close, but I think you're right.
Yeah, they're very similar in size.
Yeah,
So
the left one has better rootage.
So my next question, Lindsay, is should he try and separate those by pushing those trunks apart a little bit?
Well, you could put a little wedge in there so the trunks don't look so parallel.
Oh,
there's a little angle. But you might want to looks like the one on the right has a lower first branch, maybe, strong first branch. So
right, this one right here.
Yeah, so that might be your eventual smaller tree.
Okay.
And then have your taller tree, if it's a higher up first branch, then that might be your taller tree, maybe.
Yeah, this one is the higher one, the taller one.
Yeah. So that might determine which one you want to create as a shorter one and one's a taller one. But yeah, I'd put a little wedge in there, so they come out a little bit more. Maybe.
What would I use to put as a wedge?
Just a piece of a piece of wood or
stick or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember too that the subservient trunk should lean out a little more. The dominant trunk should be straighter. So I think you're gonna have to decide, like Lindsay says, pretty much right away what's going to be dominant and what's going to be subservient. So if you put a wedge in, it will be fairly equal, and that may mean you have to realign or either that or put a little wedge underneath the pot as well to try to. I think generally speaking, you want to try to keep that the main trunk as the straighter and the secondary trunk on a bit more of an angle to create that relationship, between the two, that one is dominant and, one's the, I don't know, male and female, mother, father, brother, sister, whatever you want to call that. Yeah, you can get in trouble doing that now, Michael, Tommy, as I found out at my class, talking about masculine and feminine pot to get you in a world of hurt anymore. But
just using the word pot around kids.
Yeah.
I have a pot collection. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get you in trouble really quick.
Yeah, that too. But if you start talking about masculine pots and feminine pots, boy, you'll really get in deep grease. But yeah, I'd be a little. You might even, if you do that, if you put a wedge in there, which I think is a good idea. Remember that that whichever becomes the shorter trunk, I think should do the leaning, and the taller trunk is the more vertical.
Very good. Yeah, that's great, John. That's a great idea.
Should I start doing anything with the apex, or just kind of let it be for now?
Let it grow.
Okay.
Just say pick your leader, and try to make that transition between the leader and the cutoff trunk as smooth as you can possibly make it, so it doesn't look artificial later on down the road, or lose it, or reverse its paper, which you can do too.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
I never had a ball cypress. How do they grow? Like their growth rate if you put them in the ground?
Like a weed.
If they get their roots into water or moisture, they will go nuts.
Well, there you go, Manny.
I water this like crazy.
Yeah.
They just guzzle the water.
They do. If you got them, you're talking about ones, man, either in the ground or in pots. I mean, here I have to keep them in the pots in a moisture tray or whatever you want to call it. Keep their feet wet, and that'll keep them going good and strong. They will handle some drought, though. It's quite surprising how much drought they'll handle. We have quite a few planted in the ground here in the desert, and they do fine. But if you really want them to do their thing, you really need to get that water to those roots. That's why you see them planted alongside of a pond or something. And as soon as they get their roots down into that mud, man, goodbye. They will take off.
I noticed on that double trunk tree that a lot of the soil was washed out around those roots, and you want to make sure you kind of cover those so you don't. If those roots dry out too much in between waterings, they'll die back.
Yep.
So you want to cover those roots.
Yeah.
I took the cover out this winter, but I had them covered with moss during the summer.
Okay. Yeah, just as long as they stay moist on the surface.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Johan, are you there, young man?
First of all, thank you for the young man. Appreciate it. Could you go wrong with that? I'm taking Japanese classes online again, so I've just disconnected from that one and moved to this one. Yeah, I've been learning for 3 years and I still don't speak anything. So hey.
So, question or statement or anything you like to talk about tonight? The forum is yours. This is round robin. This is round robin night.
No, say something to him.
Oh.
Were you talking to me, Tom? I'm sorry.
Yes, Johan.
I just had a question real quick. Maybe I was looking at the at my maples, and last meeting I was saying that I was worried that no leaves were out. They're fully already. They're all sprouted, so they're not dead. One of the grafts that I follow doing Lindsay's to improve the body, I don't think it's gonna make it, but the rest are, so I'm happy with that. I was just thinking, maples, you're trying to keep that V shape, right? But sometimes there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of branches at this time of the year that grow around that, and I was thinking, if I let that grow, well, it's gonna thicken that branch. It's gonna ruin everything. So, is the right way to cut the old thicker ones or get rid of the new ones? Or is it just a matter of where do I want to go? Right? It's just, I'm afraid that letting, I have the nice, V and then V and, the nice thing.
here at
twos,
the crotches,
twos.
it's so much sprouts that I'm afraid that, because I don't want that tree to be bigger anymore. That's the size I want. I'm thinking if I let those branches go crazy, it's gonna thicken everything on the top, and it's gonna lose all that taper, you know. So
right. So I was working on some maples this afternoon, and it reminded me what you're talking about is that you know, if you have them too much in a cluster on those crotches and you don't thin them out, then it's going to get a little knobby, you know, kind of knobby. And so you may later on, you know, depending on where it is on the tree, you may take some of the real big ones off if it's too fat, and then start over with some smaller ones. So you could always do that to make the upper branches more delicate than the lower branches.
Yeah, and you know, I cut here and there this time of the year. I don't want to prune too much because I repotted them. So you know how when you repot, everything grows, like the black pines are like, I never see them grow so much. Once you change the soil, it's unbelievable how beautiful candles they have now. And that's pretty much was it. I just had that question, you know, just so it's okay to cuddle. I was afraid of thickening, you know, those branches. And
yeah, some will get to the point where they, you know, you have these twos that come out, and sometimes the twos get too heavy and too much internode space.
Yeah.
So you might have to replace it with a little bud coming out in the crotch there, and get rid of the one that's too bare.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah, because if you lose that taper, you're screwed. I mean, you then you got a problem. Then you're gonna have to recut everything, you know, and almost literally start over again. So, yeah, you know, my students here, man, I just am on them constantly to keep those deciduous trees light up top, even if they look sparse for a while, you know, because otherwise, you know, if you get those big knobby, you know, like tried maples and especially, or well, all deciduous trees really, though, you know, they're apically dominant like that, man, you will get some big ugly stuff at the top, and then you almost literally have to start over again.
Right.
If you're lucky.
That's well, thank you. And the round robin, that's how it works, is people just talk with, you know, and like topics like that.
Yeah, we just make up things as we go along.
Yeah, no, I've been working on you know, I went to, what is it, the St. Gabriel Nursery, and last year I bought a black pine there, and I started reducing it little by little, because I didn't want to, you know, I have some from seed, but you know, that's gonna take years, right? And today I caught it, and it looks nice. I'm gonna go and bring it and show it to you. I'll be right back. It's worth it because it's from a nursery. You never seen, you know, normally it's like long things already. It's no.
Right.
So I'll go get it.
You have it on the boat?
Oh yeah.
It's got these nice backgrounds.
Yeah.
You know, I sell. I sell. I was going to Carolina there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lindsay, I have a question. Because I too have a Japanese maple, and I also got that problem where, you know, I have branches emanating from the same, more than two, right? But once they've leafed out, is it bad to cut this time of the year? Because
no, you got to do it.
You got to
if you let it go, it's going to get really bad. So yeah, what I do, I kind of go through and I'll cut out the ones, you know how they cluster out like that.
Yes.
I'll cut off the ones that are going back into the tree, and just try to keep the ones going out from the center.
Or the ones going down, right? Cut them.
Going out and sort of up, maybe.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's branches underneath.
Yeah.
That you may want to take off going down.
Mm-hmm.
Because say they're an inner branch and you have these lower dangling branches, those take the light away from the lower limb.
Yeah.
So you got to allow that light to get in there so those buds don't get weak.
So there's no concern about the timing of when to do it. I can do this as soon as I notice it. Like
yeah.
Okay.
I would, because otherwise, you know, it gets they get weak inside if it's too dense, and then second, the sooner you do it, the sooner you could train those branches in pairs, in twos and twos and twos. Right there.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's
okay.
better. It's also better to, don't do it when it's dormant, as I think you guys might be able to get away with that better. But sometimes it's so tempting to cut when it's dormant, but that's really the wrong time to do it. Sometimes you'll get dieback, and sometimes you'll get dieback to the roots. I mean, at least we can here and where it's cold. But yeah, as tempting as it is to make hard and all kinds of cuts during dormancy, that's really the wrong time to be doing that. So you guys, I would guess, are approaching those things of hardening up a little bit, and that's really the best time to do it. We even wait almost till July to do it.
Interesting, John. I try to keep a log of what I do, and I noticed I did pruning as soon as one maple lost all the leaves last year.
Yeah.
And I used a lot of and I sealed every cut. I don't think the tree liked that very much. All those cuts were black, and the one that I did at the beginning of spring is beautiful. Very interesting. And the one I just experimented. The one that I did with the liquid Japanese sealer, it's like liquid little tube.
Right.
That's fine. But the one that is like a putty Japanese one, the maples, at least the ones that I did not like it at all. So this is the black pine. I mean, not bad for. Cool. You see, it just sprouted all over the place. You see,
look at this, dude. Look at that thing go. Man, it's going crazy.
I mean, that's a nursery. Normally, it's like this thing was like almost 7 feet long, right? So,
oh man.
So I'm just telling you, if you go to the St. Gabriel nursery, they have them like for $35, and
wow.
I mean, I'm telling you, I cut it today, just reduce it, but all this is this year. All that is what I did is I started cutting last year from fallish, a little bit, and
wow.
I mean, and they have them there everywhere. What is the thickness is about 1.5 inches, but
yeah,
sure, that's good.
Pick your leader now, huh? Get your leader started.
Yeah, now I have a new one here. Just let it grow to heal that, I guess, right, a little bit. And but it's a lot of. I'm happy. So yeah, St. Gabriel Nursery, by the way.
You want chicken? You want chicken, or do you want
stir fry?
Yeah, stir fry will be fine here.
Okay.
Push it over the Zoom.
Rice?
Huh?
Rice?
Yes.
Okay. Oh yeah, rice.
And we can't see it because he's sitting in the dark.
Joe, you just stick with your moose droppings.
How about canned air? Can we have canned air for dessert?
Put one noodle at a time through that.
Oh,
no,
nice.
No.
So these ones can go, right?
Rid of it.
Yes.
This long
Yep.
ones? Yeah.
You can bring them back. That's good.
Yep. Boy, that thing is healthy as a hog too.
Yeah, I repotted this year. Even the moss is doing fine. But yeah, I was looking at it, and I'm thinking, but it's they talk about the bleeding and all that, but I think they're
don't worry. That's overrated.
Very, very green.
Yeah,
just Akadama. What is it called? Boon mix. They call
Boon mix. Boon mix.
Boon mix. But what I did, I sifted oak mulch from these. Also, I sifted it, and that's the only thing. And
really, that's good.
And this one really liked that mixture. Like, I'm gonna be watering in summer. Like, I'm gonna have to be next to it with a hose. But hey, so it's just boom mix. But I did put oak leaf mold. What is it called?
Oak leaf mold.
Oak leaf mold.
Yeah, sifted the small parts and the big ones, and it never tried that mix, and the trees is loving it. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
Where did you get your oak leaf mold?
St. Gabriel Nursery, the only place I can find it.
Yeah, you know what? I asked them for that in February, and they didn't have it.
They didn't have it. Sometimes I order it, and they say, well, but the thing is, it's very good quality. But
yeah, I know it is. It is.
Sometimes you get. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They got the best over there. They do.
Yeah.
But
sometimes I get the one that is mulched to a point there's almost pit. It's too fine for me.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. I like it when it's still was decomposing, so you get the big chunks. So I get to crush them by myself, and I, anything that passes through the 1/8, I don't really use. But no, this one, this is that pot from that gentleman. What is his name?
Dick Ryerson.
Yeah.
Dick Ryerson, yeah.
DE, yeah, that's a number 114. I got it in the Bonsai-a-thon.
Yeah.
This is Joe. This is the one that I had to leave, and I gave you my tickets. So Joe goes, "Hey, you won something." So anyway, yeah. So no, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
So he was talking about using putty on his cuts on deciduous trees.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I'm not expert on that, but I know that I thought that the putty was more for like pines and junipers.
Exactly. Anything that
and
has
then the liquidy ones are more for deciduous trees.
Yes. Yeah. So the liquid ones actually have some antibacterial stuff in that keeps insects and mold and stuff away from the cuts. That's really a good one to use. Those putties, if you're doing things like grafting, like thread grafting, or if you're doing big cuts on pines or any kind of pitchy trees, that's the best place to use putty. And you put it in your hand and you get it warm, and then you work it in over top of the cut, and that'll help seal it so that you don't get a lot of bleed.
Right.
But you don't want to use putty on particularly on big cuts on deciduous trees. That's the wrong thing to use.
I made that mistake. You see, I put putty on a big cut, and I don't ever know if that's ever is gonna heal. You see, heal.
Oh, I think it will. Oh, I see that black color, huh?
Yeah. This is to me for the. Now this is Lindsay. I became your student without you knowing. So this is the grafting that you did a YouTube video.
Oh yeah.
So you see, they work. They are live. This is alive, and this is alive,
right.
And so they follow your instructions. This one might have been a weak seedling, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's a good.
And you put it in 2 pots like that. See, Sensei,
raised it up.
Arigato gozaimasu, Sensei.
Oh, sutakimashita.
Hi.
Remember, Lindsay, as a historical note, John Naka loved oak leaf mold. Remember, John,
yes, he did.
Used to use that in his mix in large amounts. That was back when it was easier to get.
That's LGM planning mix, right? LGM company.
Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't seen it in years.
Well, that's the good stuff, Lindsay, the LG one.
Yeah. Well, in LGM planting mix, they use oak leaf mold too, but they use peat moss in there too.
Yeah. I find that using organics underneath the root ball down there where it kind of messes up your tree after a while. So I only use it in the top 1/3 of the new and across the top. I don't ever put it. I never put it underneath.
Well, that's that mulch that I brought the other day when we were working on those pine trees. Yeah, that's LGM planting mix.
That was good looking stuff.
Yeah,
I heard good things about LGM.
All righty, Ron, are you there, Ron?
They're raffle today.
What's up?
Yep, there's a raffle.
What's up?
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
Good to see everyone. I have a question. I have some Kishu Shinpakus that I've been battling spider mites for a while. I feel like I got rid of the spider mites, but I'm having a hard time being patient watching the trees bounce back. And so I'm wondering if a couple of them still have like some of the grain. A few of them are starting to push out the green buds at the tips. But I'm just wondering about like fertilizing. is it okay to fertilize the trees, the shimpakus that have some of that spider mite damage that they're trying to recover from? And how aggressive or how careful should I be as I try to get them back to health?
I'd fertilize the heck out of them, but
yeah,
you know, they say that that kind of shimpaku is notorious for spider mites because the way they grow so densely, and that's one reason why a lot of people that do grafting like the Toigawa, because it stays a little more open. It's a little faster growing too, the Toigawa. So, but yeah, make sure you can spray it. Maybe spray it with some kind of oil spray or something. Not the not Volk oil if you still have that. I don't think they make it anymore. But some of those summer oil sprays that you could use during the warm season. Make sure it's out of there. You know, so you might have to spray it again, or use some kind of systemic insecticide for those mites. But yeah, I'd go ahead and feed them. Go ahead and feed them.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to stop that cycle of those damn things, son. You really need to, if you do it once and they're gone, you got to be careful because they'll come right back again. And you almost have to do it every
7 days,
2 weeks or 10 days, 7 days. Yeah, it's you really need to break the cycle of the whole egg larva deal.
Awesome.
Cool.
Nice
Thanks for the advice. Yeah, I think I've won the battle. I can't find the actual spider mites anymore. I'm just and I still spray them with water. The foliage.
Yeah, blast them away. Blast them hard.
Double check, but I'm just waiting, hoping they'll bounce back soon. I know it's kind of I know the recovery takes a while, but thanks for the advice to both of you.
Yeah, there was a video this on the Brian Neal, right, with Bonsai Mirai. I don't know if you've seen that, but he had this whole 1 hour thing about spider mites and the smear test. That actually worked for me. That's how I identified, white paper, and then shake the branches and then smear it, and then if there's some red smear, then you still have spider mites. That was very helpful, I thought.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then he talked about the cycles also, like and how he would switch around the pesticide just to make sure that they don't get used to that.
They don't mutate. They could mutate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
But it's starting to get pretty late in the season to do any kind of spraying at this point, right?
No. There's some growing season oil sprays. I think they're mineral oil, and you could actually spray them, and they may even have a lighter rate for a summertime spraying.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
House of Bonsai. What's her name? What's her name again at House of Bonsai?
Vicky,
yeah. She told me not to use neem oil. She told me to use this mite. It's called Mite X. It's a spray, and apparently you can use that all year round.
Yeah, neem oil doesn't work too good.
So neem oil, she said, stay away from neem oil, especially during the hot summer months. But
right,
Mite X. It's called Mite X.
Does she sell that?
Yes.
That's why she's at. Yeah, well, that's good. As long as you could, as a summer rate, that's good.
And then she also said, how to spray it like 3 weeks in a row, and then wait 4 months, and then she had some schedule because she has a lot of the junipers, right?
Right.
And many of them are have spider mites on them. So
they will suck you dry too. They will just suck the life out of everything. We used to use kelthane back in the day. That probably took a few years off of our lives too. That's pretty rude. Pretty nasty.
Did I lose Kevin? I think I lost Kevin. Let's go back to Walter. Walter, are you there, Walter? Earth to Walter?
There's no audio.
Well, I know there's no video either. I'm just This is normal to me. I'm like, I just have this wait time, this 10-minute wait time. I'm like, are you there?
That's funny.
No.
That's
Greg,
funny.
you're back to you, Greg.
Sure.
You ready?
Yeah, let me swap this around. Got a question. Let me get rid of my background. There we go. I just potted up this little ginkgo forest. And actually, if I can get it to do what I want it to do, I might be able to put it into the winter silhouette show. It kind of has a nice flow to it. But I guess my question here is, it's a forest style. It started as a clump, if you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really become a forest because it's been sending up a lot more shoots.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it's really cool what it was doing.
Yeah.
There's a few more over here. You can see it. I've got a wedge trying to spread them out. Even on the back, it's putting out some more. So I'm leaving it to grow, but I think like I've got the leader, which is this one, and this is the thickest trunk, and I've got it as the tallest trunk.
Good.
And I'm trying to have the tallest trunk towards the front.
Okay.
And it seems like it's working, but I guess my question is the top, and maybe I would have to trim it. It's like, when do you trim the ginkgo for a show? In other words, if it's going to be a winter show, like I've got some shape to it already, but you don't, I guess in the fall, it's like you don't want to have a bunch of fresh cuts on it. It's not the best time.
Well, yeah. You know what you could do though? I kind of do this sometimes. Is you could make the cut toward the back of the tree.
Right.
And have an angle, so it doesn't show.
Sure.
So it doesn't show.
Yeah.
Sure.
Take a Sharpie and color it in.
Yeah. Done that.
Okay. Yeah, I've tried to. It's got a bit of a asymmetrical apex on it. But again, I'm letting it grow at this point. I've had it, I don't know. Actually, Tom and Joe, I picked this up at San Gabriel Nursery with you guys maybe like 6 years ago.
Oh.
It was just a little double trunk, and this is what it's grown into since then.
Oh, is that the small leaf variety they have over there?
It looks like it, Tom.
Yeah, so like here's my hand. This is about as big as they get. And actually they've gotten smaller over time.
Yeah,
I just did the repot. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe it'll pass your test, Lindsay. We'll find out.
Well, the only thing is you want to make sure that the internodes don't get too out of whack, too long and on that big tree. So
okay.
But that's great. That looks beautiful.
Great.
Yeah, it does look nice.
We'll let it grow.
Yeah, rotate it.
Trying to force a ginkgo to do anything is kind of like herding cats. They pretty well do what it is they're going to do, and they just look over at you and sneer. In a few thousand years, you'll be gone, and I'll still be here, as I have been for all these millions. And they just kind of do what it is they want to do. So I try to cooperate with them as much as I can, because trying to fight with them is a losing battle.
Yeah, I've actually let this guy. He's growing off in a crazy angle, but I wanted to keep thickening this part, and there's a nice root right here, and I don't want to take this off because I have a feeling this is all feeding the same. So I've left it. It may come off in the future, but yeah, there it is. There it is. There's the other side.
Good though. Handsome planting.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you. That's my question.
I haven't found a ginkgo I want even make a bonsai out of yet. They're just so difficult to find as a specimen tree.
Here, I'll show you what an old one does. Here's what happens to some of them. It hasn't pushed out yet.
Yeah.
It's got this great little.
Are you sure it's not a finished tree?
No, it's not finished, but it doesn't do anything. The roots haven't been that great, and it hasn't even pushed out its leaves yet. But I let it grow, hoping it would do something. Then I cut it back years ago, hoping it would push out, and it doesn't do anything.
Nope, they just do it. Pretty small
No,
pot.
but this
you
one,
might pot it up a bit and see if it'll.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tiny pot for and maybe if you had a bigger pot, even for a couple of years, it might throw a few buds.
Yeah, it's just kind of been marginal. This one though has been great.
They will do what they will do. And
all righty. I think our last person tonight would be Shirley. Last person for tonight before we go into a raffle.
You don't get to ask a question.
Okay, I have one question that's you might be able to help me. I'm going to move my plants to my sister's house, and I found a place in her yard for the plants, but it's all covered with lawn now. So what can I use to cover the lawn after I took it out so that I'm not walking on mud all the time? I read someplace that something like roofing paper over the ground would help, but do you have any other suggestion aside from something like pea gravel or just bark? Pea gravel.
Want carpet? I got carpet.
No,
So you're taking the lawn out? You're taking the lawn
take
out?
the lawn, part of the lawn out. I don't have shelves on top of that with the concrete blocks holding the shelves.
Oh, I see.
You can put my carpet in my graveyard here, put it on top, kill all the grass, so you don't need to dig it out.
What are you going to put there, Shirley?
What?
What are you going to put there?
I'm going to put my shelving for my trees.
Ah.
I would put full sun.
I would put pea gravel.
Pea gravel?
I'm a big fan of pea gravel for underneath your trees.
It's so heavy.
Well, use the small stuff.
It doesn't matter. They all weigh a lot. Okay, I'm thinking about moving it. That's what I mean.
That's why you hire Joe's workers to do it for you. You tell them how to move it.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, gravel's kind of good because you could, spray weeds or whatever.
Okay.
You want something to walk on, though, Shirley? Are you going to walk on it, or?
Yes, I will.
Boy, I don't know. Pea gravel it depends on how muddy it is, but a lot of times pea gravel just tends to sort of go away and sort of sinks into the mire.
Yeah.
You might have to put pavers, some kind of paving stones where you walk, as I had to do here. So I have my little trail that I kind of did around my benches, and when it's muddy, I just try to stay on my little paving stones. And there's a lot of beautiful ones. And if you look at, if you Google up, Japanese pathways, you get a lot of good ideas about how to do something like Japanese garden style that is really, much more attractive than just a bunch of damn concrete, slabs out there, which is not very good looking. But I think for me anyway, pea gravel just sort of went bye-bye. I put down, I don't know
how thick did you put the pea gravel down?
Pretty thick. It was probably, I probably had a good, 3/4 to it. And no, more than that, more than an inch anyway. And it just kind of went into the quagmire a little bit.
Yeah, you got to put down 3 or 4 inches.
Yeah, I know, and that just wasn't feasible for me to do. But anyway, I wound up using some pretty attractive paving stones and kind of mixed the paving stones with some flagstone that we have a place that we can go get it up in the mountains here. And so I have kind of a combination of shaped, regular shaped paving stones, and then flagstone kind of intermittent with it, so I can sort of walk around where I have to walk around without getting into the crud.
There you go, Shirley. Pea gravel is.
Thanks.
Yeah, you got to go a good 2 inches.
Yeah, you got to get a bunch in there. That's a lot, man, too, in a yard.
$22 a ton. That's about 10 by 10 by 2 inches.
Hell of a lot of work.
I got. Don't worry, Shirley. I'm gonna have to order about 10 tons here.
Oh my gosh.
What do you, is
Forget
that
it.
what you're going to do?
Yeah, well, the play set's gone. And then, so I'm gonna probably, once I get my benches in, my irrigation set, I have the wheat barrier ready. I just gonna have about 10 tons at least.
Really?
Yeah, that on average is about 10 by 10 by 2 inches. So.
Is it a ton?
All righty, Greg, raffles are available. We have 3 items, correct, Shirley?
There.
4 items, I think.
There's 4. Yeah, there's 4.
4 items. If you haven't purchased tickets, it's a great time to do that right now. We do this intermission. We don't forget, we do have we do still have the CBS photo shoot. This is this Saturday. If you'd like to participate, please tell Lindsay ASAP. And then of course we have a dig on Sunday, and just please direct that to me and I can get that all organized out for everybody. Oh wait, Gus, I forgot Gus. Gus, while we wait, Gus, you're there? There you go. Question, young man, sorry.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I gotta go eat my moose dropping.
What happened, Tom?
Question. Your question for tonight.
What happened, Tom?
Question. Any questions for the club?
No,
no. Round robin
good.
tonight.
For whoever wants to join us for the dig, just we'll meet up. Got no questions tonight. Sorry about that. Not at home.
No, not a big deal. Hey, so Gus, I hear you are getting married. Is that correct? The rumors are correct.
She's next to me, so I can't disclose further.
Put him on the spot.
Oh. You're
Well,
marrying your plant?
Because you got to learn how to close the application quietly and just disconnect, an important question, like my students do. When you ask them a question, they kind of disappear.
I won't do that. I'm here for the long haul anyway, so she knows.
Congratulations, Gus. All righty. Did everybody purchase their tickets for tonight? Look at Gus. Look. I got the dirty look from Gus.
You're on the list.
Good.
She's a sweetie.
She sure is. She heard you, by the way.
I need to go in my room.
No, you don't need to go to your room, honey.
Oh, get her on camera. Get her on camera.
Yeah.
All right. If everybody's done with their raffle tickets, Gus will tell me. Greg will tell me, and I'll put that in the wheel of names. Let me put that.
Yeah, we can add Nick, and we can add Manuel to the wheel of names. We've got three up here for Nick and 4 for Manuel.
All right, let me share my screen.
And if anybody's missing, let me know.
How many? I'm sorry. Oh yeah. One more time.
3 for Nick.
3 for Nick.
And 4.
It's kind of like a powdery.
Say one more time.
And 4 for Manuel.
Anybody else?
No, you already had yogurt.
Anybody else? Last call. It's almost
could you add me for 2 tickets? I'll pay after the cast. I can't do it on my phone.
Go for it. Go for it.
Don't you like wheel of names? It's kind of fun. We'll do a shuffle again. It's about a third chance here. Last call, going once, twice, 3 times. All right, here we go. First one. What's the first item for tonight, Shirley?
The large oval pot.
Large oval pot.
Yeah, I think it's 11 inches.
Let me get my wheel here. Here we go.
Manny.
Woo! Yay, Manny gets the big pot for tonight. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, Shirley, you ready for number 2? What is item 2 on the list tonight?
The smaller rectangular pot.
Smaller rectangular pot. Manny's name has been removed. Let's see who gets lucky tonight. It's almost a 1/3 chance tonight for everybody. Is it gonna be Nick or is it Manny? It's gonna be Nick, congratulations.
Who is it? Nick. Okay, Nick.
Nick.
Okay.
All right. Item number 3 is?
Black rectangle hexagon shape.
Ooh, black hexagon. Look at that. All right, here we go. Is Gus gonna slide in? Oh, is Gus sliding right there? Good. Third pot goes. The third item goes to Gus.
Third item is
one last item for tonight.
where is it? It is a elm.
An elm, a plant. Elm. All right, here we go. That's pretty even still. 2 to 1. Oh, it's a 3 to 2 to 1. It's gonna be Nick or Manny. Nick or Manny, who is it? Nick, it's an elm. There we go for tonight. All righty. I think our next time we're meeting is, I'm gonna get my dates here correct. Can someone confirm that be May 20th? Is that correct, everybody?
Speaker off.
Oh, that time?
Yes, it is that time. It's May 20th is our next time we meet. I have a prediction that we'll probably be back to face-to-face or very limited capacity, probably in June. July is probably the realistic time frame. May is probably iffy at that case. And then what we'll need to do is, I know if we're in yellow, right now we're in orange, LA County is in orange, we can have about 25% capacity of our room. So once we know our capacity of our room, we can do some quick math. My guess is probably about 70 people in that room. So 25% of that, probably like 15-ish people in that case. That's mostly like everybody that's active in our club that always shows up. But again, some of you guys are online. I understand that still. We'll keep this channel alive for you people that do not want to travel in. Especially Nick, especially if you're going to Oregon, Nick, you know, this is your club, baby. Of course, people that's working or doing other stuff, I totally understand. Other than that, you guys all take care, stay safe, and we'll see you guys next month. Same back channel, same back time. Don't forget, it is going to be a little later, or actually it'll be a little brighter when we leave next time. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
All right.
Good night, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Good night.